Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Katie, and today I have a speed build for you. So I hate landscaping in The Sims. It's like actually my least favorite part of any build, and so I thought it would be fun to build a garden. Spoiler alert, it was not fun. I did not have a good time doing this, but as you can see, I started by building a structure actually, and I was mostly inspired by the Rose Garden Tea House at the Huntington, which is in San Marino, California. I went to California a couple months ago for a vacation and visited this. The Huntington is a library, art museum, and botanical gardens, like all in one. And in their Rose Garden, they have a tea house that you can make a reservation to get some tea and light snacks. But I wanted to build some sort of cafe on this lot, and I really love the Strangerville doors and windows, and I feel like I never get to use them. And then I also realized that this window from the most recent event kind of matches perfectly. So I built a little cafe first to kind of like be in my comfort zone, and then you'll see later I gotta get into the garden. Sorry, I just yawned. I'm recording this voiceover before I go to work, which is not something I usually do. But yeah, we'll get into the garden stuff later, and you'll very quickly see my lack of comfortability with landscaping in The Sims. But I thought while I built the structure, I would just talk a little bit about my Very Veggie Legacy. I am not playing that on my channel, but I've been playing it personally for a while now, and since I've started this channel, I haven't played as much as I would like of like my own personal gameplay, and so I've been playing Very Veggie in my free time, and I've been having a blast. It's a very fun challenge. If you don't know what it is, it's by the great Lil Simsy, and it's very similar to the Not So Berry, but kind of just like an updated one with the newer gameplay from the newer packs, and then each generation is based off of a vegetable. And I'm on Gen 5, which is the tomato gen, and yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with that. I also, on my channel, I'm playing a Short Lifespan Legacy challenge, which was kind of like the impetus of me starting this channel. I love Short Lifespan Legacies. I think they're so fun, and I love playing. I play all my legacies on Short Lifespan, like literally all of them, always. I just love the speed and chaos of it. But we are about to start Gen 2 on my channel, so if you are interested in that, definitely make sure to go check out the series and subscribe to catch the next videos. And then I also, at the same time, so I have 3 legacies going on right now, I wrote a Taylor Swift Eras based legacy challenge. The rules are linked in my bio, and I'll also link them in the description of this video. But I had a lot of fun writing it, and I've been playtesting it, and episode 1 is out on my channel now if you want to go check it out. But I finally bought the Horse Ranch pack. So I own most of the Sims 4 packs, and I have not really felt a need to purchase some specific ones like Horse Ranch because I don't really see myself as a horse person. I'm like, what am I going to do with a horse pack? But I actually built Gen 2, which is the Fearless generation of the Eras Legacy challenge, kind of around the idea of having a white horse and being an adventurous horse rider. So I really needed to buy it so I could playtest, and I finally bought it. It was on sale, and I have not played with horses yet, but I have used some of the CAS and Build My stuff. I do love that pack. I think it's a very good pack. I just have never felt the desire to have horses. Popping back into the build for a little bit, as you can see, I really struggled with the aesthetic of this, and part of that is because I did try to record this video once before, and it was like a chatty build video, and I got 90 minutes into the build and my Sims game crashed and I hadn't saved once. So that was really devastating. But that is why I was able to do the outside of the building so fast, because I settled on this outside in that other video and really liked it. But I had a hard time picking what I wanted for the inside. I wanted it to feel kind of like classic, feel a little bit more like, I don't know, kind of like old cafe vibes. I did decide to make it an actual cafe lot with get together, so it does have the like espresso station, so you can come here and order coffee and other cafe drinks while you visit the gardens. But I put some seating inside, and then there's also the seating outside. But I was really loving the stuff from the Paranormal stuff pack. I used like the couch and the tables and the wallpaper. I think it really, I don't know, it went well with these stained glass windows that I really love. And I love the idea of like the little flowers on the table, since this is like a big garden. And then those chandeliers are actually from the, ooh, what is it called? The Storybook Nursery Kit? Is that what it's called? I don't know, the like goth kid nursery kit. But the white swatch is really beautiful and really delicate, and I thought it looked really nice in here. And there's just a small little bathroom off to the side. And I definitely tried to use some things I don't use a ton, just because you don't really use them in like a house. So, and I don't build a lot of community lots. I don't mind building community lots. I just don't find myself the best at them. I much prefer like cluttering a house situation. But I was going through and trying to find some wall decor and stuff that would look good in here. That little cafe chalkboard sign is from Get Together, and it is like perfect for a cafe, obviously. And then that backing of the espresso bar is actually from high school years, and it's the like boba shop back, but I really like it. I like the like clutter on it. I wish you could add stuff to the shelves. That's like my one complaint with it, is that nothing slots to it, obviously, because it's already full. But yeah, I added a little bit of tea. At first I really was thinking about doing a tea house, and in my original one I had used the boba station, but I just decided that the gameplay of the cafe is a little bit more fun, and also the cafe is an actual lot type, and so a person will show up and like serve you coffee. Whereas if I did a tea shop, it would kind of have to be a generic lot, and then no one actually shows up to make coffee. So you can see me saving. I learned my lesson, so I decided to save. And I started throwing some stuff out in the like main lawn area that I wanted to use. I knew I wanted to use mostly romantic garden stuff, because that is another pack I don't get to use that often, but I love. The stuff from it is so beautiful, but it's so particular, and it's not like a pack that you get to use a lot of. And I also grabbed those signs, which I believe are also from Get Together. This is a very Get Together heavy build, but they are from the like Von Haunt Estate house, which is like that big house that's like a house that has been turned into a museum situation. And so I got those signs to kind of serve as like the education plaques throughout the garden. But yeah, I just go through and find some things that I think might be good. We actually have a lot of statues in The Sims, and I didn't really realize that. So I pulled out all the different statues that I wanted to use, and I definitely knew I wanted a fountain. So I pulled out a fountain, and we'll kind of start to get into the garden stuff in a moment. But then I decided that this trellis would look cuter with string lights, so I put a super heck ton of them from Businesses and Hobbies, but I do think it made that little patio area look really nice. But yeah, I've been sitting on this idea for a while, because it is my greatest weakness, I think, in The Sims is landscaping, and I was terrified of it, and I was right to be terrified. I think this build real time took me exactly 3 hours, probably. I definitely am not built for this. But I do end up liking it, and I am kind of excited to place it in some of my legacy saves and go visit it, because it is really beautiful, and I think it would be a beautiful place to like get engaged or go on a date. And you can see me here planning out the garden using terrain paint, and this takes a minute. But while I do that, I thought I would chat just a little bit about who I am. Obviously, I've been making videos for like 5 months now, and so you've probably learned a little bit about me through those videos, but I don't really get to share a lot about myself in like a gameplay video. So I decided to start a YouTube channel because I love The Sims, obviously, but I also love storytelling and I love creating, and I also really love watching YouTube videos. Like, I am an OG YouTube kid. I've been watching YouTube since like 2010, legitimately, and The Sims came to me on YouTube kind of randomly. I'm pretty sure the first ever Sims video I saw was Kelsey and Peachy K back when she was on BuzzFeed's like multiplayer channel, I think it was called, and she was doing the 100 baby challenge. But pretty quickly the YouTube algorithm recommended me other Simmers, and I kind of fell in love with The Sims and I've never played another Sims game ever. I've only played The Sims 4. I downloaded The Sims 4 and the rest is history. But I love the chaos of The Sims gameplay. I love watching people build. I just think it's such a great game. And I decided, you know what, I'm gonna make my own videos. And so I just started doing it. My biggest like inspiration, I guess, is Lil Simsy, simply because I love her gameplay style videos. She plays The Sims in a way that is very similar to the way I play The Sims, and I just like the way her videos are put together, edited, all that fun stuff. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna try my hand at this. And I do have a full-time job. I do work full-time in kind of like an administrative office-y role, so I don't have like a ton of extra time to be doing YouTube stuff, but I figured if I'm playing The Sims, I might as well record it. And that's kind of what I did here. I filmed this or recorded this one night after work, and then put it together into this video. Speed builds are definitely something that is easier for me to record because I don't have to like be talking during it, but also building takes me a long time. It does take me like 3 hours to do a single build, which feels like a lot. But as you can see, as you're watching this, it takes me a long time to do this stuff, and I change stuff around a lot. You will see in a little bit here, I basically completely redo the entire layout of the garden area after I've like mostly finished it, which is really great. Yeah, and then sometimes you've probably heard some cat noises in the background. I do have 2 cats. I have an orange cat named Chester and a black cat named Oliver, and they're very cute. I actually have Chester in my lap right now. They're very cuddly in the morning. That's, you know, kind of peak cat cuddle time. But they are very silly little boys, and they love hanging out with me and my fiance when we're gaming. That's kind of their favorite time to hang out with us. I am engaged. I'm getting married next year, so pretty far in the future from when we actually got engaged. Not pretty far, like almost 2 years, but I knew I wanted a long engagement because I didn't want to be stressed planning a wedding. And I know a lot of people who've gotten married recently and been very stressed, and I was like, this is not for me. This is not the life for me. But I do love gardens, and I am having a like kind of garden themed wedding, which is why I kind of also gravitated towards a garden when I was like, I'm bad at landscaping, what could I build in The Sims? But yeah, that is just, I don't know, I guess kind of a little rundown of me. I also really, really, really love Baldur's Gate 3, which might seem like a strange diversion from The Sims, which is like a cozy, I don't know, kind of like more lighthearted game, and Baldur's Gate is very dark and serious. But Baldur's Gate is also very silly. If you don't know what Baldur's Gate is, it is a Dungeons and Dragons themed turn-based RPG, and it is so fun. I, first of all, love D&D. I have never actually played D&D, but I watch a lot of D&D campaigns on YouTube and things, and one of my friends was like, you should just play Baldur's Gate. It's like D&D but a video game. And I was like, I don't know, like I'm not great at traditional video games that like require skill and movement and things like that. Like I'm not good at first person shooters or other fighting games, but the fun thing about a turn-based game is that it is point and click, which The Sims is also. So I love Baldur's Gate. I have played, I think I counted the other day, I have finished 6 playthroughs in Baldur's Gate and am working on a couple more. I bought the game in October and I already have like, my goodness, hundreds of hours. I've got to be pretty close to 1,000 at this point, honestly. I play it almost every night. When I'm not playing The Sims, I'm playing Baldur's Gate. But before Baldur's Gate, I used to play a lot of Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley kind of stresses me out though. I've never hit perfect or like completed the game 100%, whatever, in Stardew Valley, but I have played quite a bit of Stardew Valley. And then I also recently got Animal Crossing, which also is crazy to just recently purchase Animal Crossing, but with the resurgence of it coming back with the update and things like that, I got it, and I definitely think Animal Crossing is more my speed in that it's like real time. The thing about Stardew Valley is the days pass, like there's a time limit. You have until like, what is it, like 2 a.m. before your character passes out, and time like keeps ticking, and there's so much to do because you gotta, take care of your whole farm, and if you're going in the mines, and you gotta go talk to all your friends and give them all gifts, and like there's just a lot of stuff to do in a day. So it's a little bit more stressful, whereas I find Animal Crossing a little bit more chill. I really love watching people play Tomodachi Life. It is so funny. This is an incredibly funny game to me. I have not purchased it yet, but it is on my wish list of games to purchase. And yeah, I think it's incredible. If I do purchase it, let me know if you'd be interested in watching me play Tomodachi Life. It probably won't be for another couple weeks, so like it would be probably past everyone's peak enjoyment of it. But popping back to the build, you can see I'm trying to do terrain paint, and I am not good at terrain paint. And this is the moment I kind of really realize how bad at terrain paint I am. And I also start to realize that I hate the layout that I have done. It's not like super working for me. So you'll see me kind of like fiddle around with, and then my terrain paint deleted itself, which was really cool of it. I love that Sims glitch. So I mess around with doing like a platform for the fountain, and I do think this is cool, but I think if I were to do this, I needed to do it at the start of the build because it just looks a little awkward in the placement of how the build is all laid out. But I do think it was like a cool idea, and I really did try to make it work. But the thing about The Sims is that it's like with this path, you can see it's like all angled because you can't make like a round path unless you use like the round floor tools, and I just abandoned this idea eventually because I realized it is not really gonna work. I did like this flooring though. I think this flooring's really cute, but I think this lot just like really needed to have terrain paint instead of flooring. What's also crazy is this is sped up. This is like, I think 5 times speed or something crazy, and I still spend so long trying to make this work. I must have spent like almost an hour in real life trying to figure out the terrain paint situation, this situation, like, I don't know. I was really trying. But terrain paint is, yeah, it's one of my weaknesses. I watch other people terrain paint and I'm like, they make it look so good. I like simply cannot do that. And I don't know, maybe I'm just not artistic enough. I would describe myself as a very creative person, but I wouldn't necessarily say that I am artistic. I do love like creating stuff like videos, Sims stuff. I also love like designing things, like digital products and stuff, but I'm not like a painter, drawer, that kind of artistic person. But wow, I really did stick with this idea for a long time, but I think we're getting close to me realizing that I kind of need to make a complete pivot and kind of switch it all up. But the Huntington like botanical gardens are kind of split up like this, obviously over like acres and acres of land. So I was inspired by the idea of there being like different chunks of the plant types, like different sections throughout this garden. Obviously this is a pretty small lot. I think this might even be a 20 by, is it a 30 by 20? I'm not entirely sure. I placed this in San Sequoia, and it's the lot that's like along the waterfront in the like downtowny area. But I finally decided, what if I make a giant circle rug and I built the whole garden around it, and then I can use that as like the basis for my terrain paint. And so now you're gonna see me switch everything around. But now that I kind of know what I'm doing, this happens pretty fast. I also finally make it a cafe lot because I hadn't yet. But I go ahead and kind of rearrange everything. The pink part of this garden with the lady statues is definitely my favorite part. But when I redo this and kind of make each section more distinct, I definitely really like the way it turned out. Honestly, in general, I really like the way that this build turned out. I'm never usually that happy with my landscaping, as I said, so I'm pretty proud of myself. Oh, where do you think you're going, Chester? Cat is getting up. But I often kind of talk of myself as like an average Sims builder, maybe a little bit above average, but definitely not in that like higher tier of being a good Sims builder. So if you have any suggestions of like build challenges or things you would like to see me try to build, I tried to do a random color challenge and the video just took me too long to film, and I wanted it to be like a one where I was talking through my choices, but it turns out I don't think I can really do that. I think most of my build videos are gonna have to be speed builds because they just take me too long. But I am open to any suggestions or challenges that you might have for me if you find these enjoyable to watch, and if you are also like me and you are a like slightly above mediocre builder. I don't know, the solidarity of being just an okay builder and being able to make stuff that looks good, but nothing like super crazy. I also think that this video is kind of a calming one. I could definitely see myself falling asleep to this if I was watching it. Because I just love watching people build. I find it very soothing, and I don't know, it's a good relaxing activity for me. But yeah, what kind of build videos do you guys like watching? Do you prefer when people are like talking through their choices live? Do you prefer a speed build with a voiceover? Do you prefer a speed build with just music? What's kind of like the type of build videos you like the best? I definitely like, I don't know, I think I like speed builds in some instances, but I also do love watching a creator's process and like learning tips from them based on how they talk about how they're building. For example, like James Turner, formerly known as The Sim Supply, he does a lot of videos where he like talks through all of his choices, and I really like those because I feel like I learn a lot from him that helps improve my own builds, versus like, you know, a little Simsy speed build where you get a fun little life update. I don't know, I love her little podcast moment that she does. I am now hitting the terrain paint. The rug actually really helped a lot because I had like a very specific kind of layout going on, and I decided to do this like gravel as the like walkway pathways, and I do it really thick and dark and then kind of like shade it in with some dirt around the edges and, you know, dirt underneath the different plants. And then I did put a little monkey bar, so if you bring kids here, they do have something to do, I guess. I don't know, you know, a little something for the kids. This isn't like a super kid friendly lot, but it's not like not kid friendly. But yeah, pretty soon we'll get into the screenshots / like live video of the lot, and you can kind of see a little bit more detail because I know it's hard to see when everything is really fast. But kind of the last thing I did was add a little bit more clutter and wall art on the inside just to make sure that it was all nicely decorated. I didn't really realize until the very end of the build that I hadn't actually finished this. So just going through and trying to find some art that felt like it fit the vibe of this place, and just making sure everything looked good on the inside, and trying to find some art to put in the bathroom is always a fun time. I feel like public bathrooms are always hard. And then I realized I didn't do any outdoor lighting, so I spend the next chunk of time going around and adding some outdoor lighting, but that is really it. If you like this video, make sure to give it a like, and please subscribe so that you can catch more of my videos. And yeah, leave any build suggestions you have in the comments. But I think that's all I have for you today, and I will pass it over to the screenshots for you to check out the rest of the build. Until next time, bye!